And welcome back to Corp videos. And this one comes to us from Nick Thompson, if I'm not mistaken on the name. One second. Yep, Nick Thompson. I was surprised too that you were the only one who asked for Kirby. I would have thought a lot of other people, or at least one other person, would have asked for Kirby. And maybe in the grand scheme of things, someone did down the line, and I have just forgotten it, or I just didn't notice it in time to write it down. But as far as I can tell, you were the only person who asked for Kirby. What Lantern Corps does Kirby belong to? Now, I'll admit, I didn't play, I can't say I played a huge amount of Kirby, period. I will say I've used him in Smash Bros. A couple times. I'm aware of him from his show, and I'm very much aware of the game series with Kirby, but yeah, Kirby's not one that usually strikes me as one that you normally think about very often. I feel like in terms of like the very famous video game characters, you have Mario, you have Sonic. I feel like Kirby's probably somewhere in like the top tier. Like I can't remember what games. Oh no, you can play Kirby games on the Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken, like Switch. But yeah, I mean, and that's what Smash Brothers is. It's like the history of it's like all the famous game characters coming together. Donkey Kong and all that. But in terms of like his personality and what he represents in terms of like an emotional spectrum, that's a little hard to pinpoint just because I don't immediately have a lot of knowledge of character. But with the little knowledge I have, I think I can give as comprehensive as I can. Kirby is a very nice individual, but he's also very young too. He's a kid by all accounts. But he's a monster in terms of his power. His body actually seems to hold like some sort of extra dimensional pocket, which is why he can just keep inhaling stuff. And then he simulates a power, and he has that power until he gets a hit and then gets knocked out of that power. But what does his Lantern Corp does he qualify for? Well, that's kind of difficult. Let's just go over like 3 right off the bat where I don't think he qualifies for them. Right off the bat, white and black. It's not the fact that Kirby is alive that detracts him from white. It's very much that white is a Lantern Corp of life. You need to be alive. And someone asked me this, is like, yes, the Lantern Corp of white of life is a combination of all the other colors coming together minus black. But it's one of those things where that just because that's a combination of all the emotions coming together, doesn't mean that those emotions are what represents or what needs. Think the word here. It's just because those colors and those emotions coming together are what combines into the White Lantern Corps life does not mean that those emotions together is what the qualifier is for the White Lantern Corps life. To be a White Lantern, a life lantern, you ain't need to be alive, but being need to kind of represent life, longevity, be willing to experience life, feel alive, and nurture and protect life. So yeah, Kirby certainly tries at that, but I just don't know if Kirby is. What are you doing rubbing your nose against the wall, Pop? You silly. My dog's just going like rubbing her nose against the wall, just like me. But yeah, I don't personally think Kirby would be a good qualifier because Kirby is still taking life. That's the weird thing. He has done that. So I can't. And I'm not saying just because you've killed someone in your day, you still couldn't be a White Lantern. It's just it doesn't help towards that. But on the reverse side of that, Kirby is neither dead, nor is he like an embodiment of death, nor is he nor has he ever really died before a period. So I don't see him as a good qualifier for being a Black Lantern either. And then I don't, and this is a weird one, but I don't see him as a Lantern Corps member of, oh, my back. Ooh. I think I slept a little wrong. Ooh, that didn't tickle. I don't see him being a Orange Lantern of Avarice. Now, you might be arguing, well, he just, constantly consumes and absorbs and all that. But there's a difference between just having like a very, big appetite and being a glutton and being avarice. Avarice isn't just straight gluttony. It is greed. It is never being satisfied with what you have. Now, that it is one of the rings that amplifies its emotion on its user. Like Larfleeze, who is the prime Orange Lantern. You occasionally see one other Orange Lantern when Larfleeze has to have another member of the Corps. But the Orange Lantern Corps is at its strongest when there's only one member, hence the idea of avarice. And that one member, it just heightens that avarice on that, so you never want to get rid of that ring. In fact, when he got rid of the ring during like the War of Light, when the White Lanterns were created, and he was free of it. He's like, no, don't let that thing come back to me. Don't get it. And then eventually attached back on. It's like crap. And it's like shiny. But yeah, Kirby, as far as we know, doesn't really have anything besides a large appetite, and that's only because that's how his power set really works. So yeah, him constantly like sucking in individuals and assimilating their powers isn't really about him being greedy. It's just how his power set works. It's not like someone like Gourmet from Yu Yu Hakusho, whose power set did involve consuming the individuals and things, but there was clearly there was a level of greed to it and glutton to it. So yeah, he couldn't be an average Lantern. What he could be, though, and this is obviously bare bones obvious, is a Green Lantern. Most main characters are good for their series are good qualifiers for a Green Lantern Corps because it's one of the stronger Lantern Corps definitely, because even though there are Lantern Corps that have a better level of raw power, like say the Red Lanterns, they come at like costs. Again, avarice, consistent greed, never satisfied. Red Lantern, you're blinded by rage most of the time. You're usually pretty like animalistic with only like bare bones communication skills. With Atrocitus, who's leader, he's managed to, he's fueled by his rage, control his rage, and target his rage. With love, it's all about the emotion that's governing you, and what the pros and cons of that are. With Will, I don't know why Will is an emotion in the DC world, but it's Will. Will is one of those things where it's an emotion that actually does, at least, again, in the context of this is an emotion, that doesn't control you. Your will is just something you have, and how strong it is all depends on you. Being able to conquer your fear is great willpower. So yeah, Kirby would definitely qualify for that because he's gone on and saved, the universe God knows how many times. He's fought monsters and evil into Meta Knight, all that multiple times, and he's always overcome. With a few times he's felt fear, he's overcome it. But then on the same basis, talking about fear, and I want to think about this for a second. Well, I don't think any of his opponents are ever really afraid of him. I mean, they hate him and they want him gone because he's a threat. But are they afraid of him? That's the question. It's debatable, but more importantly, it's where I'm bringing this from is how he's kind of perceived, and especially in like the meme lore of the internet and like internet comics, stuff like that. Kirby's kind of perceived by like people in Smash and stuff like that. I saw one yesterday where I'm trying to remember. It was Incineroar. I can't remember the guy. I think he was from Street Fighter or something like that. Either way. And he just brings like, look, I've gotten Kirby. That's not Kirby. That's Jigglypuff. Like, what? Where is he? Where is he? Like, show me the playback. And they're showing that. Look and say, there's my God. He survived. And then you just see Kirby go, da, da, da. It's like, ah! So Kirby has a tendency to scare the crap out of people in weird ways. And at least in like the outside medias beyond the game. So I actually think fear could be I just think it'd be hilarious to see this little pink adorable guy with a smile have this little lantern ring on his non-digit existing hand, and just get something, be a fear lantern, but just have that smile. Just, but anyway, compassion is, I mean, honestly, thinking on it, I could have put compassion in this list. And if I were to edit it a little bit, maybe I would. But compassion, I just think like Kirby is just a nice individual, but I don't think compassion is really his strongest trait. Not that it's his weakest trait. He certainly has it. He's going around saving the universe for a reason. But I don't know. I don't get the vibe of a compassion lantern from Kirby. That's the thing. I don't think it works. Nor is he a Red Lantern. He's just not fueled with that kind of rage or anger. Yeah, sure. And like any character, he can get angry. There's very few characters in all of fiction who are basically incapable of getting angry. And the few who are like, there's one. Oh God, there's one from an anime who he's like a complete and utter psychopath. And I don't mean that like he's like crazy, like I get powers. No, I mean like he's legitimately the definition textbook of like a sociopath or psychopath. He just doesn't feel anger, but he gets like this weird sick thrill off of like screwing over people and making them kill themselves. I can't remember it. Leon was his name or something like that. He was like a blonde, looked Germanish, something like that. Character. And again, was it Monster? Was that the name of it? I can't remember, but I do remember that. I remember the anime. Um, but anyway, so there are very few characters in the whole of fiction who can't experience anger on any level. But that doesn't qualify them for a Red Lantern ring. I don't think that qualifies. It's not the thing that dominates him. Last but not least, so that leaves us now between Star Sapphire and Lantern Core of Love and Lantern Core of Hope. Now, obviously, I do think he qualifies for one of these. Which one is it? Well, honestly, I think it's the Lantern Core of Hope. He's the savior of the universe most of the time. He's the savior. He's the hero. So obviously, people are going to put their faith and hope in him. Plus, unlike someone, say, like a Naruto, for instance, who I do think could also be who very much could qualify for Lantern Core of Hope, where he's very much a kid or even a young adult. His emotions kind of, can be expressed in different ways. Like he can be a bit of a dick sometimes, but ultimately he's still there to inspire hope. Kirby's very much a very friendly individual who's just there and inspires kindness, all that stuff. So and then obviously he goes off to save the day to rescue, the world, the universe, what have you. So I do think Kirby probably qualifies much better for a Blue Lantern ring than a Star Sapphire, only because I don't know if Kirby really has anything he loves or anything like that. But yeah, I would go Hope as the other Lantern Corp you could qualify for, which now begs the question: is he ultimately a Blue Lantern, a Yellow Lantern, or a Green Lantern? Well, for my money, obviously, I'm going to take the Yellow Lantern out of there just because I am going with like the internet meme lore like Kirby. Like within like the canon of his own like TV series or games, I don't know how afraid like what was it King Dedede is afraid of him, or the crocodile guy, something cool, I can't remember his name. I don't know how actual afraid of them. They don't like him. I know that he's their enemy, sure, but I don't know how much you can extrapolate fear from that. I haven't seen a lot to indicate that. So that leaves Will and Hope. And for my money between the two, I am actually going to go with Hope. I think while Kirby certainly is capable of being Green Lantern just by the mission of being a protagonist of his series, young, overcoming the odds, he doesn't seem. It's not. What's the best way to put it? There doesn't seem to be a lot where his willpower is, tested. He's not being tortured. He's not going through evil hallucinations and having his greatest fears thrown in his face. No, he's just kind of like a kid, with a lot of power, goes to save the day. Whereas with Hope, I do think that falls better in him. It puts him into a better category because he is a very kind, friendly individual who's always out there saving the day. Is always out there making friends. So I do think that is the better option when it comes to Kirby. But that is just my opinion. What do you think Kirby's Lantern Corp is? Do you think it's one of the three I suggest, or do you think there's an argument to be made for one of the other six? I don't know. Put in the comments below. Personally, I go with the Blue Lantern Corp, but it is just me. Thank you for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review of it at some point. And hit that bell if you want to be notified. Actually, this is on Tuesday, so yeah, I'll have another Magic video up later. But, because I'm pre-recording this for Monday, or on Monday for Tuesday. So I've still got the Forgotten Realms previews to do, but I'm waiting for those to, for more to come in because it's still early in the day because I didn't have to work today. So I'm a little, besides all, I just took a nap. Like I just laid down for like 2 hours. Like, oh, I didn't get to sleep in because I forgot I could sleep in because I didn't know I could sleep in. So I'm having a nap. And it was nice, and dog and pup snuggled with me, and you snuggled and you like to snuggle on the bed. Yeah, absolutely. I still got to do those. So yeah, other than that though, it's actually a pretty easy week this week for me. I've got, besides the Magic videos, I've got What If on Wednesday. I got Loki on Wednesday too, where I'm, oh man, can't wait to see where that's going. Loki, I actually don't really have anything besides Black Widow planned for Thursday right now. Yeah, I'm taking a little break from the Pokemon videos just because not that I'm running out of ideas, but I just, plus I'm also working on Thursday too, the day for a change. And then, yeah, who would win on Friday? And then, yeah, it's a standard week this week. My standard weeks are actually pretty much, I mean, I do have the magic videos I'm doing, which are taking up an extra video, but other than that, my standard week is actually pretty mild. Pretty mild. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.